So, Aster, Budo, and of course your third companion, Meaty is his name. Meaty, for reference, is a very tall, very lanky warforged. So, the three of you exist in a world called Eberron. Eberron is very similar to every other fantasy world you could imagine, but with a slight twist. And that twist is that in Eberron, it's wide magic, not high magic, essentially. So, in every other fantasy world, magic is sort of feared by the common people, or it's a mystery, whereas in Eberron, the common people have magic. There are stones in the center of even the smaller villages that when you touch them, clean you off. Magic is, every bartender uses magic to chill drinks and reheat food. It's a very sort of common thing, but high-level magic, those really top-tier wizards, really just don't exist in this world. The other thing about Eberron is that Eberron is actually the place where the wonderful race known as Warforged, which obviously wonderful Mr. Spar you play in the campaign, were created. Magic has a sort of technological quality here in Eberron, which I'll try to sort of emphasize tonight while we play, and that is that they have a magical train essentially called the Lightning Rail, which is essentially just a train that is fueled by magic. They have giant airships that are, again, fueled by a weird mix of like magic and technology fusing. And all of this is led and controlled by something called the Dragon-marked houses, which are 13 houses, which essentially are sort of like almost like an Illuminati-style cabal, but they're far more out and open about their existence. Or think of them, I apologize, more like almost like a mega company. It's like Google, almost, where each of these houses, the members of these houses are born with magical tattoos that give them innate magical powers. So House LilliarnaAU have the ability to control and bend elementals to their will. And in doing this, they control the airships and lightning rails that car things around. House Kenneth have the ability with their magical like these tattoos that they're born with to create and build magical constructs. They're the ones who built the Warforged, who actually build the airships. And essentially, the various houses together sort of almost in the background, like control the kings and queens of lords of the continent that you guys are on, in almost like a weird chess game where no one who looks like they're in charge is actually in charge.
Power behind the throne.
Yeah, pretty much, very much so. It's so. The year is. The year is the 20th of Olaroon, 996 YK. You don't need to note that down, it's not important.
Okay.
That is purely flavor and to flex my knowledge of the calendar of this world. So,
good job.
2 years ago, the day of mourning occurred. 100 years war had raged on, a war called the Last War, where on the continent of Corvair, the continent on which the two of you and your wizardly companion find yourselves, the 5 nations that called this continent home were fractured. They were unfixable, and they went to war. Over the course of 100 years, almost 100 years to the day, these 5 nations splintered and broke into 13, if we're not counting the demon wastes, which we don't. They're demons. And after roughly 100 years and 1 week of war, the nation of Sire, the jewel of the the jewel of Galifar, as it was called, the sort of like central powerhouse of this continent, was destroyed. The entire nation was engulfed in an event now called the Mourning. From the center, a capital called Metrol, some sort of strange magic erupted, sending this wall of screaming faces and souls erupting out in all directions, killing everything. Man, woman, child, animal, plant, it didn't care. Everything dropped in its tracks. And it extended to the very borders of this nation, and this nation alone. And that is where the wall, this strange, smoky wall, hundreds and hundreds of feet tall, now just sits. This eerie reminder. 2 days later, the Treaty of Thronehold, a very hastily constructed and loosely based treaty, was signed, recognizing officially 11 nations and the potential independence of an extra 2, but that's something for another day because that's political stuff we don't need to get into. However, this alliance is fragile. Kings and queens are assassinated behind the scenes constantly, and there's no telling who's actually in power of a particular area or even a particular person at any time. The dominoes have all lined up, and all that anyone is waiting for is the gust of wind that is going to knock them over and start another 100 Years' War. This is the setting in which we find our 3 adventurers, or 2 plus companion. In a small, just outside a small settlement called Arathorn Keep, we find Budo. Would you like to describe yourself, please?
I can. Give me one moment.
Go ahead.
If it'll work. So, Budo's a halfling monk, small in stature, mighty in spirit, rocking a quarterstaff and his fists, and heading out into the world in plain clothes, simple monk slippers, shaved head, and a black monk, thick bristled beard, and martial arts headband tied around his neck, around his head. And I do have a picture that I stupidly put into a slideshow instead of a single image.
Oh,
so it's rotated through your picture.
That's okay. Budo, you sit atop a mastiff, like a large dog that has been trained and saddled to be ridden by a halfling. Sitting beside you on a riding horse is the wonderful half-elven form of Aster. Aster, would you like to please describe yourself?
Aster is definitely small for her age, as things tend to happen with most of her family. She has darker hair, very round Harry Potter style glasses, and a small, almost heart-shaped bundle of thorns that she carries with her on a small necklace. She is very quiet, but you'll know that when she decides to open her mouth, it's usually for a good reason. Or a dumb reason.
So I understand, just a little bit of metagame here. I understand that Lily is a cleric. I'm not going to ask which religious order she belongs to, given that she only found out we were in Eberron about 10 minutes ago. So she belongs to one of them. Riding alongside the two of you, also on a horse, is a very old dwarf by the name of Meaty. He is currently sitting on a pony. He has the very classic, very long beard, very long grey beard, no hair. You can see his face is covered in tattoos all the way down his arms. He wears a long blue robe with the classic stars and moons on it. He thinks it makes him look quite dashing. He wears the robe with very simple brown pants, black boots. The robe is open at the front with no shirt underneath, showing his very hairy chest and very big gut. He constantly has, either strapped to his side or in his hand, a giant wood, giant spell book with wooden covers and like a leather strap down the middle. On the front of the spell book, you can see the image of the progenitor dragons, which is essentially an image of 3 dragons sort of like swirling in almost like an Ouroboros style pattern around this like maelstrom of color in the middle that represents the most commonly accepted creation theory for Eberron. On the back, however, is a symbol, and this symbol is a large silver arrow with a flame erupting from it, which is the symbol for the silver flame, one of the many religions here in Eberron. Meaty is very much a person of actions, not words. He is also a person of borrowing money from his friends and not being able to pay it back. Meaty is, to describe, as his friends would describe him, fine. So, the 3 of you hail from Shan, the jewel of the south, the jewel in the nation of Bremen's crown. Shan is the biggest city in existence. It is a massive thing that you can see from hundreds of miles away. Giant towers reaching up farther than some of the tallest mountains of Corvair. The 3 of you have been hired as sort of private investigators by one of the dragon-marked houses, specifically House Kenneth. One of their former employees, a man by the name of Myron Perrond, has gone missing.
Could you say his name again, sorry?
Myron Perrond, Myron Perrond is his name. Myron was a simple messenger. That was his job. He read messages from one end of Shan to the other, carting them around for House Kenneth. However, nearly 3 weeks ago, Myron was caught in the act of beating a high-ranking DeKenneth, basically that means a high-ranking member of the actual Kenneth family, to death with a small bronze statuette. He then fled, and no one has been able to find him. There were sightings of him near Arathorn Keep in the nation of Thrain, far to the north, and so the 3 of you were hired to attempt to pick him up, essentially. You're going to find what information you can and bring him back. You are being paid, upon his return, 50,000 Galifars, which is essentially 50,000 gold pieces.
Holy crap.
That is enough to pay your rent for the next several years. Even at Shan prices. So, a little bit of information on Thrain. Thrain is a theocracy, meaning that it is actually led by the church, and the church it is led by is actually the Church of the Silver Flame, the same church that Meaty ascribes to, which is very much they do not worship a god, they worship something called the Silver Flame, and they are very much a religion that believes in action, the idea of actions speaking louder than words. If you go to a temple or a church, the temples and church are not built for prayer, they're built for defense. They're a place where you go to seek safety and refuge against evil, where, if you're being hunted by a werewolf, the Church of the Silver Flame are the ones you go to, and they are the ones who hunker down and help you beat that evil back, essentially. Look, we won't get into the political machinations of that church, but that is where you are at the moment. You are roughly an hour from Arathorn Keep, a large military settlement built during the last war that has been refitted to essentially keep an eye on what is now known as the Mournland. Once known as the Nation of Sire, has been renamed the Mournland after it was destroyed. As Thrain actually shares a very large, significant size of its border with the now destroyed nation, and quite often beasts and monsters come running out of that desecrated place and have to be just sort of kicked back into where they came from. You 3, as you sit on top of this hilltop on your steeds, have stopped to take in something that it's up to you whether or not you think you've seen it before, but even if you've seen it before, it still irks you every time you do this unsettling feeling of the giant wall of cloud and mist. It looks like it has like faces and hands coming out of it. Some of them the size of humans, some of them like giants that like sweep out. This just giant wall that extends in either direction as far as you can see, and hundreds of feet up into the clouds that marks the actual border of the Mournland. What would the three of you like to do? Yeah, you're about an hour away from your destination. Oh, I apologize. You're heading there because that is the last known location of Myron. He was spotted traveling through the keep and looking for passage there.
He was traveling through looking for passage. Can I just ask a point, just so I'm clear and I don't say the wrong thing? Did you initially say that Meaty was a warforged, but Meaty's a dwarf? Or did
I
write that down
apologize.
wrong?
Yes, that is entire. I have so many M-based names by accident. I am sorry. Meaty, your companion, is a dwarf. That is my bad. I do apologize.
Okay. Please, I'm not trying to. I had two different races written down. I didn't want to refer.
No, that's okay. Myron, the person you are hunting, he is a warforged.
Right.
Warforged were built by House Kenneth for the last war. They were basically like built in the hundreds of thousands to be soldiers during the war. There were entire battles where no flesh and blood being was on the battlefield. It was just thousands of Warforged smashing into it. House Kenneth are essentially all of the dragon marked houses are basically just the worst, and we're they're all just war profiteers pretty much. They're all just generally not great. And then at the Treaty of Thronehold essentially registered that, oh yeah, we should probably be like, yeah, these are actually real living beings since they have feelings and stuff. I guess we can probably acknowledge that if we have to, type thing. So yeah, they're considered living beings. So now a lot of Warforged are like, well, we were made for war. What the hell are we supposed to do with ourselves now? There's no war. So yeah. But yeah, so yeah, he is a warforged. You have been given a description of him. He's very tall, very lanky, very quick from what you've heard. Not really good in a scrap. Very passive. He was supposedly a messenger on the battlefields, and he worked for the nation of Breland. But so, yeah, you guys are about an hour out. I do apologize for that mistake.
Oh, that fucking wall gives me the creeps.
It's honestly quite unsettling.
So where do we think this guy would have gone? This Warforged. He's looking for passage. Do they frequent the inns?
Sorry, I fell asleep there. I don't think those Warforged eat. You would know. You guys would all know that Warforged. They do need to rest. They do have to like sort of almost shut down into a sort of like, you don't know what you call it, but yeah, like a stasis sort of, like they do have an equivalent. They do have to like turn themselves off, I guess. Like you guys aren't really sure how the magic works. It doesn't really make sense to you guys, but you know that there is like a rest type thing they have to do. You know that Warforged do not need to eat, breathe, or drink. However, they can still taste, and a lot of Warforged do those things to make the flesh and blood creatures around them feel more comfortable around them. So a lot of Warforged are just in the habit of doing it anyway. Especially, but yeah, you're not sure about Myron in particular.
Quick geography question: is this a landlocked country? Like, is this Arathorn Keep? Sorry, it's something I need to ask you. Is it landlocked, or is it like
Arathorn is so. The Mournland is sort of, imagine the Mournland on the right side, Thrain on the left, and Arathorn's right on the border. But there is the only thing around it is a small river, that is actually between it and the actual Mournland. But that's really about it. Otherwise, yes, it is pretty much the center of this continent, actually.
I just wanted that context for how passage or where passage may be getting sought. Sorry, that was what I was after.
Oh, I apologize if I wasn't clear with that. He was attempting to solicit an airship from.
You may have said it. I probably missed it.
I may not have. That's my bad if I didn't. But yeah, he was essentially attempting to hire an airship from here to take him over to to the Lazar principalities up to the sort of like northeast, which is like a pirate-led collection of islands. He was seen here roughly a week ago, attempting to get passage out of here via airship.
Okay.
Unfortunately, no one had informed him that airships do not come and go from this keep. And he was,
Right.
as they say, shit out of luck.
All right. So we're aware of all of that, correct?
You guys are aware of that, yes. You guys are aware that there's no way, no airships in or out. He would have had to have come and gone by foot.
Well, I'm going to just nudge Meaty back in the meaty ribs so that our whole party is awake again, at least again briefly. Either of you have any contacts here? Do you know where the traveling points are? I don't know this city. I prefer not to walk in blank.
Go ahead and make me, both of you, if you want, can make me a history check if you want to see if you know anything about Arathorn Keep. You'd be welcome to do that.
I've got shit stats for this. 14. I've got it up so chat can see, the stream can see Lily's rolls as well, if they want them.
You need to unmute yourself.
14.
You forgot to unmute yourself.
That's okay. You guys are juggling. It's like two rooms, one mic. I get it.
So 2 14s. That's okay. So you guys know, obviously, this is a southeast fort in the southeastern part of Frayne. Fairly isolated. It's separated from the lightning rail, like the magical sort of train that leads north to the nearest nearest town via something called the Thornwood, which is sort of like a very large stretch of essentially uninhabitable forest that has like weird magic about it. You actually do know a couple of things, and that's the first thing is that there's a guild that is stationed here. It's not actually a military outfit of the Silver Flame. Instead, it is a guild by the name of the 1,000-Yard Stare. Is the name of this guild, and their leader is Chenna de Madani. Chenara de Madani. So, just a little bit of lore here again for you. I apologize if I'm overwhelming you, Spar. Lily's already aware of this piece of lore, but Madani is her last name. So Madani is one of the dragon-marked houses, and the D in front of it, essentially lowercase. The way you would write her last name is lowercase d, comma, and then uppercase M for like Madani. The D essentially indicates that someone is not only affiliated with the house, but an actual born member of the family that is leading it. Maybe they're a very distant cousin, but they are a born blood-related member of the house, and therefore someone of great importance, essentially. Yep. You would know that, essentially, she leads this group called the 1,000-Yard Stare, and essentially their job would be to probably rebuild the keep and patrol the border with the Mournland, most likely. You couldn't imagine that there'd be more than 100 or so soldiers stationed here, being it as isolated as it is. And you would know that this fort is considered, for lack of a better word, a shit post. This is the kind of place where you get posted here and you're just really unhappy. It's not one of those places that's quiet and people you send and the older soldiers before their retirement to just have like a peaceful last few years. It's one of those places where it's quiet in the bad way, where it's boring, it's in the middle of nowhere, food's hard to get, it's just a general miserable posting, which is why you imagine they get mercenaries to do it instead of their own army. So yeah, it's kind of in the middle of the nowhere. Probably used in the last war maybe once before the Mournland was even a thing, but otherwise it's just it's in the middle of nowhere in a very unimportant location. For all intents
and what was Madani's first name? The person of House Madani?
Chenara. So CHANNNARA.
CHANA.
NNARA.
Okay.
Yeah, Chanara
Okay.
is her name.
So that's a
would
contact
know.
we have here. Oh, yep.
I'll say she's not really a contact. You just know of her. Like you've heard of her, if that makes sense. You would know that House Madani bears the mark of detection. So it's basically, imagine like an inquisitive or an investigator. It essentially gives its users the ability to detect magics, diseases, poisons, people who are invisible. They're very good at reading people. So like, imagine just like having a constant buff to your insight and investigation skills as a player type thing. They are also every single member of House Madani is a half elf. Every single person who actually has the dragon mark, the magical tattoo, is of a half elf. So if she has the D in front of her name, she would most likely be a half elf as well. I'll give you guys that info. But yeah, essentially they're very good at detecting things and finding out information. It's strange to hear of one of them being a warrior. It's not a job one of them would normally take.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a bunch of lore for you about what you might be able to expect.
Oh man, my head is spinning. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, man. It's
That's all right.
cool.
That's all right.
One shot.
It's what I signed up for. Okay, so we've got that contact there. Where do you two think we should head to next? We're nearly in town. Where should we start? Should we go to the rail yard? Should we try and hit up the 1,000-yard stair? Where should we go?
I mean, the 1,000-yard stair probably wouldn't hurt to go look at.
Let's see if we can find this Madani.
So the three of you continue on your way. You can see Arathorn Keep in the distance. As you approach, the sort of like, it's kind of like midwinter. There's like a little bit of an overcast. There's a bit of a wind chill, but it's not too cold. Like it's, you put on a sweater and you're fine kind of weather. As you approach Arathorn Keep, you can see that it is a decrepit-looking building. It is a single story. It has a wall like a stone wall that's maybe about 60 feet tall. It looks old. You can see a couple of holes in the wall where like it's been repaired, but not with like stone or anything. It's been repaired with like wooden scaffolding has been built in there and then like layered over. It's been very sort of like hastily done just to get it up and running again. It does not look ideal. So yeah, like it's very clear that the people who live here very clearly know where they live. As you sort of approach, you can see that the fort appears quiet. It's maybe late afternoon, so like 5-6 p.m. The sun hasn't quite got, neither of the suns, there's two of them, sneaky third one, but won't get into that, have begun to sort of go down yet. And you can see the front gates are open. The one on the right is like maybe half ajar, and the one on the left is fully open. Just sort of like letting you in. There doesn't appear to be any guards standing guard at the gate either. It's just open. It's just like, hey, come on in. Welcome. Good to see you. You can see, however, one thing does catch your eye from outside, and that is a giant tree. This massive, what looks kind of like willow tree, but it's so big. It's maybe 3 or 4 stories tall. It towers above the rest of the fort. Appears to be growing in the center of the fort. Yeah, it appears to be growing in the center of the fort. If you guys want to quickly chat about what your plans are, I need to quickly go tell people to be quiet in the other room.
I think we need to go and find someone in this. I'm just going to look around and carefully say place to see if we can talk to someone in charge. See if we can find someone who knows this Shannara. Madani. Any thoughts?
I mean, finding someone, just in general, would be good.
There is that.
Huh, what? I fell asleep again. What are we talking about?
We're wanting to
Smells
see if
like
we can
shit.
find someone. Yeah, I think the people who live here are aware of what it looks and smells like. Meaty. We want to find somebody. Any idea how to? Is there a bell to ring? Like,
It
got it in
doesn't.
that book?
Wandering around, there doesn't appear to be. Meaty, sort of like, you see him like looking back and forwards, and he says, "Something doesn't feel right about this place. What the fuck's that doing there?" And like, he has like this giant staff, like strapped to the side of his horse. It's like, so Meaty stands about 4 foot tall. This staff is about 7 foot long. This giant golden rod, and on the end it has like a T shape on the top with like charms and everything dangling down. It sounds like a wind chime anytime he uses it, and he sort of like points it in the direction of the tree and says, "What the fuck's that doing there? That is not normal." Man, this is eerie. This is like set up for some sort of like pulp adventure or something. Anyway. What are we doing, boss? Meaty is essentially the equivalent of a contractor. So
Yep.
you're basically his boss. You
We're his bosses. Got it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Have you got anything in that book that can let people know we're here, and let's see if we can shake a few trees and see what comes loose?
He taps the book and says, "Nah, sorry, boss. It's mostly just like spells and some erotica that I thought was pretty good. Sorry.
Times.
I got nothing for you."
At times like this, wish I had thaumaturgy. I'm just going to start shouting out. I like, hello, anyone around? Anything to get
Okay.
politely try and get people some sort of attention to find out what the hell's going on, where everyone is.
Are you doing this from outside the gates, or are you going to sort of let yourself in and start calling out to people?
I start from the outside, and I'm going to make if nothing happens from the outside, start riding my giant mastiff. Giant on inside.
Okay. So you start yelling out. You get no response after a little bit of yelling, so you start sort of slowly moving your mastiff inside, with Meaty and Aster following close behind. It is warm in the walls, which isn't like unheard of. Like, there's no wind chill because of the walls and that, but it's like humid and kind of like it's not comfortable warm. Like, it's very like hot and wet. It feels like almost like a swamp as you enter, and you all sort of like immediately have to like take your heavier layers off of you, like just start sweating straight away. You call out sort of thing, and you hear your voice echoing through the fort. As you walk through, Meaty reaches up and taps you on the shoulder and says, "Hey, I don't think that's normal." And he points behind you to the gate that you just came through. As you turn around, you see that there are vines, these giant brown vines growing out from the wall that you came behind. You see they cover the inside of the walls, and they are growing to block the gate that you just came through, almost as if they're trapping you inside.
That's not good.
I can't imagine it is. No, that looks quite bad. That looks ominous as hell. I don't like that.
At this point, I'm going to take my quarterstaff off my back and just rest it across the pommel of my mastiff saddle, and take a look around to see what else may be happening.
Looking around, you can see most of the buildings are intact. So you see several larger, one or two larger buildings here. Clearly, over near that giant tree, you can see the roof of what looks like the biggest building, which appears to be some sort of command building sort of in the distance. But it looks like almost like a small village, so a lot of very small 1 or 2 room, sort of like single-story abodes. Not poorly made, but certainly not, the newest. They look comfortable enough. You can see that most of them don't have glass windows, just wooden shutters. Everything here looks calm. You don't see any people, but you also don't see bodies or signs of a struggle. It's just very quiet.
So there's no smell of decay, there's no sign of life. It's just essentially this eerie, ghostly swamp village.
As you sort of like smell, you can smell like this. It smells like a swamp, but not necessarily decay. It smells almost like a methane type smell. Just sort of like on the twinges of your senses. But other than that, no. It just smells. It smells like moisture, like rain is on the way, sort of thing. Constantly is how it smells. Like that mixed with methane is sort of what you're getting here. Yeah, it looks like a fairly large fort. It looks like the fort is built to house maybe anywhere between 500 and 700 people, but was almost definitely not housing that many people at the time.
Aster, that looks like it's a command center up ahead. Do you want to poke around here, or are you happy to head up and see if there's anyone in the big house?
Well, at this point, if we don't find someone, I will be more concerned rather than anything. So I guess command center it is.
Agreed. So we're heading to the command center, boss.
Okay. The three of you mounted very intelligently upon your steeds. You haven't gotten off them yet. Smart. Begin moving through the winding streets. It's not like a straight shot, like one like straight sort of thoroughfare down the middle and like splitting streets. You know that this fortress has clearly been built almost like a maze, like you're constantly winding in and out. You know that it's built like that on purpose. Soldiers stationed here would eventually get used to this style of layout and be able to sort of like move through it, but anyone attacking would enter essentially a maze and they sort of like have that disadvantage of unfamiliar ground that appears just haphazardly thrown together, whereas if you were to look at it from the sky, there would be a clear sort of like pattern to the design that would allow anyone familiar with it to move through with ease. As the three of you move through, let me make a couple of quick rolls.
Get those mad cleric skills ready.
You saw nothing. Aster. Aster, you, as you're sort of wandering along, see what you think is a person. You sort of like just move through. You're just like moving through a very narrow street one by one, with you sort of in the middle, and you glance at the window to your left. All the buildings are on sort of like foot to half a foot, like raised off the ground almost, off the mud. And as you look through the window, you swear you see someone just sort of like standing there, just smiling at you. You look at them, you give them a wave and look away, and then like double back, and there's no one there. Aster, this person did not look okay. It looked like a man. He was not wearing a shirt, okay? It looked like he had vines wrapped around his chest, like they were crushing his bones. There was a vine going into his mouth, and then coming out of his left eye, wrapping around his head, and going into his right eye. And you sort of like, it's one of those things where you saw it just out of your periphery, and as you looked away, you looked back, and it was gone.
We might want to stay away from the vines. I swear I saw someone up there. Just, no. She points to where she saw this man, and I definitely saw someone up there. And the vines looked like they were killing him. So, stay away from some vines.
Do you think we should help him, or is he beyond help? I didn't see anything.
Look, so far we haven't seen anyone else, so maybe we should go help him. At the very least, we might find someone.
Lead on. I think we need to be very, very careful if they've disappeared.
I would like to try and find a way into the building where we saw this man then.
Yeah. So, directly to the right of the window is just a door that is open. You can just head in there if you want. It's not like open, like bashed open or anything. It just looks like, you know, like it's a Sunday. You have your big door open, your screen door shut, sort of like very casual. You dismount, I'm assuming, and head into this.
Is there anywhere we can put our animals reasonably safely away from?
There is a hitching post, sort of like maybe like 2 buildings ahead of where you are, that you could probably hitch them there if you'd like.
And is there any furniture on the veranda, like the front of that house, that we can use to wedge the door open after seeing
this
the front
particular
door?
house does not have any furniture or anything. No, there's no veranda. Sorry, I should say.
Okay. There's not. Are there any rocks, anything around that can be used to try and prop the door open? The front gate. I didn't like the front gate.
You sort of like look down on like the mud of the ground. You sort of like start rummaging around. You do find a fairly large, like a fairly sizable, like stone, like rock that you can jam under the door.
Yep, I'd like to do that. I'd like to jam that thing as far open as I can.
Okay, you jam that. You open the door and just jam this, like, you notice it's kind of sharp. It looks almost like a large spearhead. And you just sort of like, whatever. And you just jam the sharpened, like, looking end of it into the gap between the door and the floor and just kick it in there a few times. Get it really stuck. Yeah, the door's open. You can, yeah, you're pretty confident it's not going anywhere.
And what's the light like inside? Are we in a darkened interior?
Yeah, it looks dim, not lit at all, so sort of like dim light it would be for the sake of D&D based rules. It'd be dim light inside. The suns are just starting to go down now, so like you've got a little bit of light left, but not much. Meaty raises his hand and just says, I can make light, boss. You would know that that is just a spell that he has, that he can just create magical light for the group, if need be.
Yep, as soon as it gets too dark to see Meaty, light it up. So, Aster, can you point the way? Like, anywhere around here that you saw this guy?
She will
I got nothing.
be first in and will look around for this vine-covered man she saw.
Okay, as you
just follow her lead because she saw the body.
Yeah, easy. Aster, you start walking in. As you do, Meaty takes a step into the door and says, okay, as you step in, you can see a hallway in front of you that goes maybe 20 feet into the house, and a single door at the end of that hallway, which turns to your left, which is open. As you wander down the hallway, turn to your left, you can see there's a large sort of like sitting area or like common area. There's a few like chairs scattered around the room, like a large table in one corner, coffee table in the middle of the room. Also like some old books just sort of sitting there. You can see there are 3 or 4 doors exiting here, one of which is opposite you, which you can see very clearly appears to be a sleeping chambers of some variety. There are 2 to your left. One is closer, one is further away. Both those doors are shut, and you would have to open them to see what's inside. As you get to this door, Meaty says, I must stay here and keep an eye on the front door just in case someone tries to come in, boss. He reaches out and he touches the end of your quarterstaff, and the end of your quarterstaff is like there is a you both have to sort of blink a few times as this piercing white light erupts from the end of your quarterstaff, just illuminating the area around you for 60 feet. It is blinding at first.
Very bright.
He's standing there with his wind
Thank
chime
you,
stuff.
Meaty.
Yeah, you got it.
So, sorry, I may have missed part of what was said. So, Aster, is this where you think he may have fallen, or are we looking for
So,
him?
I will clarify.
Mm.
When Aster did see the person
Yes.
was standing up, smiling, and waved to her.
Mm.
As if it was like washing the dishes. As far as you can tell, Aster, based on where you guys were and where you are now, they would have been in one of the two rooms to your left where the doors are shut. They would have to have been probably the far one. You think, the one closer to where the bedroom is probably the most likely place for them to have been.
Well, look. One of these two doors? What do you think could be behind door number 1? She goes up and she just kind of launches it open, the one closest to the bedroom.
So we're currently at door 1.
Okay, you walk past the first door to the door closer to the bedroom and open what I would call door 2 since it's the second door along, but door 1. You open door number 1 and inside you see a small sort of island bench in the middle, a bench that covers the opposite sort of like side of the room to where you are, and a single relatively large window with like gently wafting curtains. You can see like there's like stores of food in here. The food, as you look at it, doesn't appear spoiled. This does appear to be the window that you were looking through. This does appear to be the room you saw in. There is no one inside that you can see from the doorway.
Is there any sign of a struggle?
At first glance, from where you're standing now, it doesn't appear to be. No, everything
sorry.
appears to be intact.
Actually, I should ask first. So, does this look like the place, Aster? Is this it?
I mean, look, it definitely was it, but it is missing one key factor: the person. So
That
maybe
true.
they're under door number 2.
I wouldn't mind just having a quick look around to see if there's any like vine marks. You said he got severely fucked up, or blood. Any sign to say something may have gone down here. Can we please have a look around?
Yeah, easy. Go ahead and roll me investigation checks, both of you, to have a look around this room.
I really did not do a good character for this. Oh, good roll though. Oh no, it's not. Yeah, that's a good roll.
I'm confident in your abilities.
I don't know why it's saying it came up instead of 5, but I rolled a 17. Like the dice came up 17, but the number said 5. That's bizarre.
That's weird. We'll go with 17.
I'm not imagining
I only
things.
got
Someone please
11,
click
so-
that. While you do that, I'm gonna reload D&D Beyond. That was bizarre.
What'd you get?
11.
So, I realized she muted her mic. Looking around the room as you take a step in, Aster, you can see that, again, there appears to be a decent amount of food here. Most of it non-perishables. You do find some vegetables, a small, tiny little meat locker set into the opposite, sort of like the back side that was facing away from you of the island. The middle has like a little cold storage meat locker inside of it. You can see there's like the inside's been enchanted to stay cold, and it has like a few frozen cuts of meat in there. You find some bread that was maybe made a day or so ago that looks not stale, but like not moldy or anything. Like it hasn't been sitting there very long. Just appears to be a serviceable enough kitchen. There doesn't appear to be anything wrong.
What do you think? Should we try the other door?
I mean, may as well. We could probably go open both of the other doors.
We might want to check that bedroom too. Something doesn't
You're right.
feel right here. Something does not feel right.
You're telling me I had a man smiling and waving at me, and now he's disappeared.
With a vine through his face. Shit way to go. I think we should work
Very.
through them together. I can kick, like, open the doors up, and we've got a very bright light. Expose every corner. So we're going to work through systematically the closed and open doors, starting with door number 1 / door number 2.
Okay, you go to door. You walk back out of door number 1 and head over to door number 2. As you place your hand on it to open it, Budo, you turn the handle. You feel a little bit of resistance from the handle. Like, you know when, like, you can tell someone's holding a door handle from the other side, not holding it closed, but like you turn a door handle, there's someone on the other side also turning. There's that little bit of resistance. You feel that for a moment, but the resistance breaks immediately, and you're so like, huh. You push the door open suddenly, and what you see in front of you shocks you. It is a normal bedroom. There is a large king-sized bed set into the opposite wall, 2 dressers on either side, a large wardrobe on the wall that would, like, be shared with this room, sort of like to your right through the door. That's really it. Oh, and there are 4 bodies hanging from the roof by vines.
That's an important detail.
The entire room is musty and it smells dank like mold and rot. All the walls, all of the furniture I've just described is covered in a slick layer of algae or mold and vines that comes exactly to the doorway here. And yeah, there are, you count over the course of the room 6 bodies total, several of which are obviously hanging from the roof. You count 3 children and what appears to be 3 adults, all of which you can see the vines, the algae is covering their bodies, and the vines are like wrapping them like taut against the roof or held against walls. One of the adults is like jammed into a corner of the roof sort of thing, and is like covered in like moss, like vines through the eyes and out the mouth, and then like wrapping around the neck of the torso, like squeezing the torso. It is very gross. You have to like actively stop yourself from retching when you smell it. It is. You smell the decay in this room. It looks like they've been here for, like, looking at the bodies, what you can make out through the moss, a long time, longer than you think is. Yeah.
Before we deal with those bodies, I think we definitely need to take them down, but I think despite the gruesomeness of this scene, we need to make sure that whatever did this didn't leave anything behind to give us some clue as to what the fuck is going on here. So can we, like, is there some sort of hidden entry into the room? Is there a sign of what has happened to lead to vines impaling this poor group of people? Or is all we see what you described?
What I saw is what I described is just what you saw on a first glance. If you want to risk heading into the room to make an investigation check, you are welcome to try. To see if you can like discern any other information about the room itself or what's happening.
Aster, we can't leave those people hanging there like that, can we? We need to take them down.
Aster is in the corner, huddled over, trying her hardest not to vomit. Just like one hand across the stomach, one in front of the mouth, being like, she is not looking good.
Yeah.
It's about now that you two realise that Meaty is gone from the doorway.
I'm just gonna I'm gonna shut the door and turn and run back out because I don't want to have happened and try and jostle Aster after me, so I don't leave her behind, and I don't want him alone for any longer than he needs to be, nor our animals.
You going as well, Aster?
Aster will follow, stumbling a little bit, trying to continue to keep down her lunch.
I'll just
So-
lend one side of the staff for her to have as a guide to stumble after, and give her something to hold on to, and not vomit.
You guys duck back out into the hallway. He's not in the hallway. You duck back out the front, and you immediately spot him to your left, about 30 feet. He's slowly like creeping forward. You can see his staff is actually in the hallway as you exit. It's like beside the hallway, and in his hand, you can see that where the staff normally is, he has like this large, like intricately carved white wood wand that is like in his hand, sort of like a little bit behind him, like up in a ready position, and you can see that he's creeping into like there is like a natural corner caused by like an L-shaped building, like further down this alleyway, and you can see that there is a figure hunched over in the fetal position, sort of like on the balls of his heels, hands on the back of his head, curled up into a ball, staring at the corner. You can only see their back, and you can see that Meaty is about 10 feet from them, with like his right hand just outstretched, slowly reaching towards them, and you can hear him saying something very quietly to them. And you see that he's got his wand up, like he's either going to cast a spell or maybe try and shake it with the wand. You're not sure. Both are things you've seen him do.
Meaty, what are you doing? Who's this
Meaty-
guy?
Meaty hears you. He stands up and turns and says, I don't know. I was seeing if he was okay. I heard him crying. He's sort of like, as he's turning to face you, you see the figure behind Meaty begins to slowly stand up. As he begins to stand up, you notice that this figure is very tall, about 6 foot. You can see that his arms and legs are longer than they should be. Like, it takes you a minute to figure out what's wrong. Apart from the vines that are entirely wrapping his body, of course, and the spear that he is picking up out of the mud, you notice that it looks like his arms and legs have been dislocated at every possible joint, and the skin has been stretched to elongate them by the vines that are holding him. The figure starts to slowly turn as Meaty turns around and... Oh, shite. You see the figure turn around to face you and sort of start to, like, hunch over with this, like, crudely made wooden spear in its hand. You can see, like I said, red pants. It has a very simple shirt on, but it is wrapped head to toe in vines. Vines moving in and out of its mouth, its ears, its eyes. You can see down its arms, its left palm has like a large vine spike coming out of it, and it's sort of like and takes a step towards Meaty. Hey Lily, do you want to show Spar the picture up to your webcam if you want? It's the one on this side, don't show him the other one yet.
Right. I can't see. Oh, hang on. Let me look at it on the other. Sorry, could you hold that up 1 second? Stream won't be able to see it very well, but okay, I see.
It's okay. I'll send it through to you afterwards if you want to add it to the
it's all
stream.
good. Yeah.
For the VOD, all good. But yeah, it just looks like a man. The body is like broken, like his bones must be snapped by how tightly these vines are wrapped around him. And yeah, he doesn't look great. What do you want to do? He takes a step towards Meaty, and Meaty turns around. Oh shit.
Does anyone speak tree?
Jesus.
You said he's not communicating, is he?
It doesn't appear to be, no. It's just very strange guttural noises coming out of the creature.
It seems like this is a bad guy. I'm actually you haven't told us to roll initiative. I'm gonna yell out to see if I can get the creature's attention and go, "You, do you have anything to do with what happened in that house? What the fuck are you doing in the alley?"
The creature stops moving as you say that and sort of like jerks its head to the left. As it jerks its head, you hear its neck snap, and you see like a bone shoot up out of its neck, and it like looks at you over the top of Meaty and and leaps at Meaty. Could you please roll initiative?
God damn it.
Now look, man, you gave it your best shot to be passive. I'm gonna commend you for that, please.
It's part of the character is to try and give everyone a chance. It was very difficult there not just to start swiping at this monstrosity though. I just couldn't quite tell if it was evil or not. I rolled an 18. 14 plus 4, so 18.
I've only got a 15.
I do like that the first time I've ever run in combat for you, Spy, is in a one-shot.
That's right, we're 30 minutes in and we've already had more fighting than we have in, what are we up to, like 9 hours?
Something like that. Oh, it's great. Okay, Budo, you act first. You're sort of like in the back of your mind, something's like itching at you, and you're just like you don't notice, but you're sort of like already starting to grip your quarterstaff in a menacing way, and sort of like just ready to leap. The moment this creature takes that step towards Meaty, you leap into action before it can do anything. What do you want to do?
How far am I from the vine monster?
About 35-40 feet.
Okay, well I'm going to use my movement to get within 5 feet so that I can attack with an unarmed strike. Which should get me, like I'm pretty small, so I can dodge around Meaty or slide between his legs or something spectacular. And
easy as.
Okay, so and then I'm going to attack with an unarmed strike.
Go ahead and make your strike, sir.
That's 15.
That will hit. Yep. Go ahead and roll your damage.
All right. So 7 points of bludgeoning damage.
Yep. 7. You run at Meaty, and in a move you've probably done a million times, and Meaty hates beyond anything. You plant a foot on his shoulder, leap off him, and just swing a right hook straight into this thing's strange face as you like fall towards the ground, like just Superman punch it as you come down.
Oh, I can describe the attacks I'm doing? This is great.
Yeah,
right.
Damn right you can, man. You hear like a snap as like the jaw breaks as your fist connects with it, and the creature looks back up at you, this broken jaw like ripped and torn down. What else do you want to do with your turn, man?
I want to use bonus action for Flurry of Blows.
Yep, so you have 2 different things that you can do as a bonus action attack as a monk. So anytime you make an unarmed attack or with a monk weapon as a bonus action, you just get a free attack anyway with your unarmed strike. And then Flurry of Blows, you can spend a key point to instead make 2 attacks. So
well, I'll take the free. Can I take the free one and then decide if I want to use the key point, or do I need to decide straight away?
Yeah, it's like they're both your bonus actions, so you need to decide.
I'll just take the free one and see how that pans out. Yep.
Go ahead and make a second attack for me then. It's basically just like, you always have 1 extra attack up your sleeve.
All right. And with that second one, oh shit, that hits 25. I'm going to pivot and go low and try and take out whatever the nearest kneecap is on this creature and see if I can send it prone or at least take out mobility. I'm going straight for the knee.
Yeah, how much damage do you do with that hit? That's definitely possible. Definitely
5.
hit as well. 5. Okay, total of 12 damage done. Okay, you come down, cracking in the jaw. You spin back around. You bring your foot up and just smack at its kneecap. You watch the leg break and snap. As it snaps, you watch the vines re-wrap themselves around the leg, twist the leg up. The leg is broken, and the creature hits the ground. As it hits the ground to the side, it begins picking itself up. The vines begin pushing it back up, and you can see the vines like bend the leg back, but it is currently prone on the ground for now, for this turn. Budo, very good job.
Thanks, mate. That's me done, isn't it? Because I didn't use any key points, so I got the 2.
Yeah, that's you done. Unless you had any movement or you wanted to like do anything else, then that's you. Action, bonus action.
I'm just going to be ready to keep going. I don't have any movement left. That as a halfling, that was all my movement.
Easy. Next up is Aster. You guys all rolled better than this thing.
Gotcha.
Aster would like to ready and use Guiding Bolt at 2nd level.
Go ahead and make your attack roll.
That is a 25.
Yeah, that'll definitely hit.
Ooh.
Jesus, guys. Maybe I should have made this thing more powerful.
No, that's good. Warm up. Oh, real dice. I need to buy some real dice.
That'll be 17 radiant damage.
Okay. So you're using it. It's 29 damage total with your 17, and correct me if I'm wrong. You raise your holy symbol and fire this bolt of golden light that strikes this creature square in the chest. As it strikes this creature, could you remind me in the future that is technically a ranged attack? Because it's prone, you should have had disadvantage. I do apologize. I won't make you re-roll, but remind me of that if you remember, because I never remember that. But no, I'll give you that one. You still rolled very well, so who cares? But for my own notes, I'm just going to quickly make a note of that in bold, prone, equal, disadvantage. There we go.
That'll also make the next attack roll advantage on it, so it should even out if it's still prone, because it's now glittery. It's got a little bit of a glow to it.
It's a glowing vine monster.
Yeah, you watch as Meaty sort of like stands up and goes to like begin casting a spell. You watch as he holds his wand out. His wand almost seems to like this golden light encompasses his arm and almost seems to like connect a string to the creature and like fix his aim towards this strange figure in front of him. Is that all you want to do with your turn, Aster?
Yeah, that'll be it for this turn.
Goddamn clerics. Okay. Next up is Meaty. Let's kill this thing, I guess. How do I want to do this? Meaty's just gonna go with a good old firebolt. Nothing fancy. He does have ranged attack would be disadvantage because you'll think it does give him advantage and they cancel each other out. So normal attack. Hey Lily, could you confirm that is indeed a natural 1 for Meaty, please?
That is indeed a natural 1.
Yeah, it is indeed a natural 1. Meaty's great. Meaty brings his wand back and for fuck's and throws his wand out. This bolt of flame shoots forward. As it fires out, like it's this tiny little like streak of fire that comes from his wand. As it does, you step back, Budo, bring your foot in and snap its leg. As the leg snaps in, the firebolt flies through the space where the leg was. As you break it and skids against the mud behind it, and Budo just god damn it. Good work, laddie. You're doing great. Very proud. Oh, for fuck's sake. That is the end of Meaty's turn. That is all Meaty.
Oh, fuck, you missed.
It is the puppet's turn. The puppet is going to do this first. Mystery abilities that you guys don't need to know about until they become pertinent. You watch as the puppet picks itself up, the vines wrapping around it, right the leg. You watch as the leg snaps back into place. The leg is broken. You can see the break. You can see the bone and the flesh that is broken there, but the vine itself appears to have like doubled down and wrapped around the leg and is just holding it in place. It's uncomfortable to watch. It will then... Why am I even considering? Of course it's gonna attack the one person. Yes, it's gonna attack you, Budo. You're standing right in front of it. You just broke its leg. It grabs the spear, the strange spear-like appendage it's holding. You begin to realize now, Budo, that the spear-like appendage isn't a spear, it's actually a part of it. Like, it appears to be made out of the vines themselves, and the vines have, like, formed this weapon for it. It's gonna grab that with 2 hands and stab it at you. Does a 10 hit you?
No.
Ah, god damn it. The creature stabs it at you.
Yeah,
You just
parry
bring
that
your
shit.
You just bring your palm up. You don't even move. You just. There's no form. There's no skill to it. It doesn't even try. Honestly, it's embarrassing, quite frankly. The puppet is just knocked to the side by you, Budo, as it just keeps trying to stab you. As you're being stabbed at, Budo, what do you want to do? It's your turn.
So seeing that there was no success in the cracking of the limb, I want to try something. So let's give this a go. So because I'm only a short ass and this thing was quite tall, my quarterstaff is a lot taller than I am. So what I want to do is jam the quarterstaff down, because I've got 2 attacks, right? So I want to jam the quarterstaff down into its foot, whatever's closest to me, and use that like the world's shortest, most muscular pole dancer to flip around behind the thing and wrap the quarterstaff around its neck and try and just rip its head off.
Okay, could you make me an acrobatics check?
Yes, I can. Come on, dice, don't fuck me. 16.
Easy. You bring the quarterstaff down on its foot. Go ahead and make me an attack roll for the damage from smacking it with that one. With the attack with the quarterstaff. I'll say, no, don't even bother making the attack roll. Just roll the damage, man.
Okay,
I'll count.
18.
Yeah. I'll say I'll count your acrobatics check as the attack roll as well.
All right, so 6 damage.
6 points of damage. Easy. You slam your quarterstaff into the foot, push up and off it, and flip twice through the air. Land with the your legs sort of like your legs / knees sort of like resting on its shoulders, and you wrap the quarterstaff up and around its neck, bringing it to rest like in where your elbows are almost.
Yeah, straight across his throat. I want to try and take his head off.
Go ahead and make me your next attack roll then and see if you can bring this thing down.
Oh, which I had the 18 from before. 7.
7.
Oh, I wish I could have kept the 18.
You know what? I'll be nice, and I'll say you can have advantage, because you do have... It's kind of hard to miss when your quarterstaff is wrapped around its neck. It's kind of hard to not hit with that attack.
Well, the next one was 11. A little bit better.
Okay. You're pulling with all of your little halfling might. You're giving it everything you've got, but it's big and you're a halfling. I'll say you're on it, but at the moment you're just sort of holding it there. I'm afraid. My apologies. The vines are holding the head on its shoulders.
Okay.
You could have. I'll allow you to retroactively say that retroactively say if you want to that you did spend a key point to get 3 attacks on a turn instead of 2. I will. I think I actually distinctly remember you saying you wanted to do that. I do. Don't check the VOD. It happened.
Sure, I'll take it. I've just spent the key point.
Yeah, easy.
Come on, guys, don't screw me here. 15.
That will hit. Go ahead and roll your damage, sir.
Come on, off with his head. 5.
5. How do you want to do this? You kill it.
I want to just brace my knees into the back of this puppet and just pull with a mighty reefing of the quarterstaff, just rip through the throat, and as I'm exiting off its shoulders and the body falls, spin around and kick the head away down the alley.
Easy. You rip it off. As you rip the head from its torso, the head flies up in the air. You leap off it, kicking the head midair as the head on the ground, and you land on the back of the creature. Just no effort, not even a sweat broken. Meaty just sort of like stands up and Show off.
I think you're being kind because you just wanted to see that thing succeed, and I love it. I love you for it.
Look, it only had like 2 health left, so you know, it would have been mean to not do that. Whatever's most entertaining for the story, really. As the creature hits the ground, you watch as the body is immediately covered in a layer of moss and like fungus that immediately begins to grow. You see mushrooms sprouting along its back, and over the course of maybe 5 or 6 seconds, the entire body turns green. Meaty just sort of wanders over and looks at it and pokes it with his wand a little bit. And, that's weird.
Meaty, Aster, can either of you detect any way that thing was being controlled? It didn't seem to have any kind of sentient conscience.
Asta would like to go over and slightly kick it with her foot and see if she knows anything about whatever it is we just heard.
Okay.
I love it.
Go ahead and make me a religion or nature check, please, Aster. As you do that, Meaty just says, and he's gonna make an arcana check. As he wraps his dwarf ring.
Can I add assistance to the religion?
Yeah, if you want
anything. Yeah.
I mean, do you want to help on a 25?
Nope, I'm good. I'll just sit back down and go hum while you do your investigation.
And Meaty got a 24 on Arcana. So, as the two of you kneel over it, you, Aster, can tell. I'll say if you want to just relay this information instead of, we can, meta pigeons just sort of flies over and, you can tell that this creature was the body was not in control, the vines were. That is the first thing. That is very obvious. You know that this does not appear to be any sort of nothing from religion necessarily. Like, it's not a demon or a devil, not a fiend of any variety. You know a fair bit about aberrations as well, and shape changes. It doesn't appear to be any of those, whatever this magic is controlling it. You also get the feeling that this creature was not necessarily immediately aggressive. It only became aggressive when it saw... One, when it saw Meaty, and two, when it saw that Meaty was holding his wand in a threatening way. You don't think this creature was necessarily... Like, it fought with the intention of killing. You don't think this creature's good. That is the first thing. You do not think that this creature is necessarily a good creature. But you think that this creature fought more for its own survival.
Yep.
You also think this creature, based on what you saw, is, as Meaty would put it, dull as a bag of shit. It didn't look smart the way it was fighting, because any intelligent creature would have run away in that situation. It didn't. It doubled down to the bitter end. Even when it was losing, it could have run, and it didn't. You don't think that this creature was necessarily intelligent. It, for lack of a better word, you would describe it as some sort of puppet. Meaty shares with you guys that it is his belief that the actual, he says the same thing, some sort of puppet, vines were controlling it. Meaty also concludes that whatever the algae is, it is magical, and he also suggests burning it before it's done. As he stands, he clicks his fingers, and a little flame erupts from the end of his thumb as he does, and he sets the body alight. The body quickly burns, it catches on fire with a flash, and burns away in a matter of seconds, almost like a petrol fire. If you've ever seen petrol set on fire on a concrete ground, it is there for a second and then gone. This is the body burns for maybe 5 seconds, and then there is just a pile of ash before you.
Well, fuck me. Meaty, can you not go poking around any alleys without us, please?
Meaty looks back and says, "Oh, sorry, boss. Someone needed to help. I guess they kind of did, but in a different way. Help in the afterlife, all that. Well, shit."
Like, if this is what we've got around, and if these creatures are not necessarily going to be madly chasing us, maybe we just head down the thoroughfare to the main building and see if there's anyone actually alive here. What do you think, Aster?
I think whatever the hell that thing is, we should be careful. Just in regards to finding anyone. They could all be like that. I
think the
don't
big
know
building
about
looks
you guys, but I don't want to be like that.
No. Can't pole dance with my quarterstaff if I'm a zombie vine.
Okay. The three of you begin moving once again. As you begin moving back through the thoroughfare.
On our mounts, we didn't leave them behind.
On your
I'm
mounts,
taking,
yes.
I'm taking my puppy.
Yes, very clearly. On your mounts. You continue moving through the through the winding streets. As you do. Sorry, just gonna make a quick couple of rolls for someone.
It's alright.
You hear footsteps on a roof above you, and you hear like the sound of whooshing, and you see like a shadow pass over the top of you. At this point, the sun is down now, and it's dark. Like, it's on twilight. The sun is, it's not like dark night, but it's getting darker. The shadows are starting to loom. Meaty has put out his torch. His explanation is, well, if there's light, they might know where we are if they don't already, and I'd rather them not find us if there's more of them. But if you want the light, I can give us the light. But yeah, you hear like two sets of footsteps like on a roof above you, and then you hear like two things move over the top of you, and then getting further away. They get
fucking creepy.
They get further away to a point, and then they stop, and you hear two voices. What languages do you both know?
Oh, that's a good question. Where do I find that? I remember doing it.
Bottom left-hand corner of D&D Beyond with your proficiencies in that. If you scroll to the bottom, it'll be in the left-hand corner.
Oh, Celestial, Common, Draconic, and Halfling.
Yep, Lily?
Common, Elvish, Marquesian, and Orcish.
Lily. Sorry, Aster, you understand them speaking Marquesian. That's right, I made a dead language useful. I reward my appliance. You hear them saying, I do not think that it is such a good idea. What are you talking about? They look fine. Yes, well, the others look fine until they suddenly fucking weren't. What are you talking about? You're the shitty because one of them got at you. He didn't get at me, okay? I let him. Look, we can't trust anyone. Look, we're the only two left. We have to trust someone. Look. Oh shit, here it comes. Fuck, is it looking at us? I think it's looking at us. Oh, fuck. Wait, no, it's not looking at us. It's looking at... What the fuck is it looking at? Oh, okay, it's just not looking at anything. It's a tree. Right, that makes sense, yeah. I'm sorry, I haven't slept in like 4 days. I know, neither have I. It's no excuse. What the fuck, dude? Shh, they're gonna hear us. You make out that conversation.
Can anyone understand what the fuck they're saying?
I can. And in Marquesian, I'd like to say, does a tree really look at anyone? Or does it look at everyone at all times?
So
I'm just going to look at Aster stunned at whatever garbled nonsense came out of her mouth.
Just for reference, Marquesian is sort of like, just imagine like D&D French.
Oh, I was thinking Latin
Essentially,
when you were saying when dead language. Gotcha. Yep.
It's a dead language in this world.
I understand.
Because it technically is from a different entire part of the multiverse. But we won't get into that. I was just rewarding Lily for picking a language.
That's awesome.
You hear Lily, you Aster, there's a pause, there's no sound, and then you hear one of them go, Man, that is really weird that she happens to be talking about like trees. When we're talking about trees, yeah, you don't talk to us, do you? How could she be? She doesn't know we're here. Yeah, we're real stealthy.
I would like to respond again in Marky's here. To be honest, though, is anyone really stealthy, or is it just the illusion of stealth? Like, when you shut your eyes when you're hiding and you do, I can't see them, they can't see me. Is it like that? Because, I mean, I can't see you, but I can hear you. So then, are you really being stealthy?
Oh, I wish my character could understand that.
Lily's gonna just quickly grab me a book that I was supposed to grab earlier, out of my D&D cupboard. As she's saying this, Aster, you hear them, whoever these two figures are, just say, "Man, this is like some like horror movie stuff. Like, how does she know?" Man, like, can she not see her friends? Is she blind? Man, it's cool they have blind adventurers now. I like the inclusivity of it. It's kind of nice, you know? Yeah, it is really, really nice. Like, I like the idea that, like, you see the band of adventurers, you think, like, oh, there's the woman in her bikini armor, there's the big man in, like, his Conan the Barbarian sash, there's the old wizard, and look, there's Dave in the wheelchair. But, like, no one looks at Dave in the wheelchair and is like, oh, Dave in the wheelchair. They're like, man, I'm scared of Dave in the wheelchair, because Dave in the wheelchair is just, like, a part of... It's so nice that, like, they're so inclusive, these adventuring parties now. We got really loud, didn't we? Yeah, we also tried to wander over to the edge at some point. What? That was your idea. I followed you. I followed you! Ah, that's good. Oh shit, they're looking at us. The three of you look up and see standing above you are two figures. These figures are not of a race that either of your characters would have seen before, but you as players are definitely familiar with kobolds.
Mm-hmm.
You see, both of them have red skin. I don't go by cute kobold rules, I go by angry, evil kobold rules, much to Lily's chagrin. Lily prefers cute kobold rules, but I refuse. You can see that the two of them are dressed very differently. The one on the left appears to be dressed in very simple, like, clothing. You can see that he has a dagger at his side. He has what looks like a pair of, like, makeshift wood and leather wings on his back that are ripped and torn and broken. That might be like some sort of makeshift glider or something. And he has, like, piercing yellow eyes that are just sort of, like, wide, just staring at the three of you. The one standing next to him, however, is also not wearing any armor. He's wearing no shirt, but has a large leather strap over his chest that attaches to a large cage on his back that has a skunk in it. Hanging from the... oh, I'm not done yet. Hanging from the side of the skunk, you can see a large bag that appears to have holes cut in it with wasps swarming around. You think it's a bag with a wasp's nest in it? You can see that he has, on the end of a long stick, the back end of which, sort of like similar to your quarterstaff, one end of which has a bunch of jagged metal, almost like gaffer taped to one end, and the other end he is tied with very small string, a scorpion. You can see that he has a dagger on his hip as well. You can see that he has a pot on his right arm. He has, like, a tankard that he's taken the bottom out of to make like a handled sort of bracer almost. And you can see that he has a pot hanging from it, like a glass pot that appears to have some sort of, like, large grub inside of it. You can see that he has several vials of acid and what was like alchemist fire on his belt. And you can see that, last but not least, in the actual other hand where he has the grub thing, is a basket that you can see it's full. It looks like a flower basket that it just has fucking centipedes just falling out of it. Just a bunch of centipedes. This kobold looks nuts.
This is the fucking hobo kobold. What the fuck?
You two have never encountered kobolds before. Kobolds are a very rare race in Eberron. That are so it's yeah. You get this is probably your first time ever seeing kobolds. They kind of look like mini dragon men.
The fuck are those? Are you talking to those things?
I would like to look up at them and say in Marquesian, much like the tree, I too see you.
They both look at each other. They look back at the tree. They look at you and... I mean, they're not covered in vines. Yeah, but we're not covered in vines and you can't trust us. Don't tell them that. Forget you heard that. Why am I friends with you? Because all your other friends died. That's a good point. We are both really annoying. Yes, we are. Hey, what are you guys doing here?
We were looking for someone. Yeah, but we found vines.
You only just start to notice it now, but partway through that last interaction, they flawlessly slipped from Marquesian into Common. And they're just speaking Common now. Oh yeah, the vines are weird. We don't really like them. Quite? We do not like the vines. The vines are quite bad. I am not a fan. Tell me, are you attempting to escape? And get out of the fortress thing?
I don't know what you guys were saying before, but I can actually understand you now. Hi, I'm Budo. This is Aster. Meaty's over there, half asleep. Who and what are you?
I'm Nick. This is Knack. We're kobolds. We're I guess, what would you call us? I guess you will call us contractors. Yeah, I guess you would call us contractors of a sort. We were brought in here to like build some traps around, like they found something under the ground, caused like, I don't know, some magic stuff, and they were like, hey, we're gonna seal this in, but we need some traps built, and kobolds are good at building traps, so do that or we will kill you. So we did, because we don't like death.
That seems fair.
Pretty fair deal. Yeah, one of the best paydays of our life. Work in exchange for not death. It was a good deal. I gotta be honest. They're good businessmen. They negotiated well. They did good. They did good. Game respect the game.
I do strongly suggest you get better management if we survive this. We're actually looking for someone. We would like to leave, but we do need to find them first.
Oh yeah, who are you looking for? We might know them. Yeah, we might know them. We know lots of people. Yeah, we know. Well, we knew they're mostly vines now. Lots of vines.
Are you trying to get out, or are you staying?
Well, here's the thing. We wanna go, but grave robbing's a lucrative business.
Oh, Jesus.
So we're kinda just doing both. We're making our way there slowly, but it's kinda hard with all like the vine people being vines. Also, there's that whole like the tree. It's being a tree and it's kind of annoying every now and again. He came stomping over this one before. It was like, hey, I'm gonna throw a rock. There were 5 of us, and he threw a rock, and 3 of them were just like smushed. So you know, it's not good, bro.
The tree moves.
Yeah, the tree. Oh, it throws rocks too, apparently. Surprised the shit out of us too.
I'm surprised there's graves to rob if everybody's vines.
Well, technically, this whole place is the graveyard now. We just assumed they were dead now that they're vines. You know, when you got vines coming in and out of your head, brain can't really do brain stuff.
Alright, we are looking for an extremely tall warforged.
They start, like, the 2 of them start slowly climbing down the side of the building, like, trepidatiously. One of them's, like, sliding down a pipe with, like, his arms wrapped around it, just slowly coming down. They eventually both get to the bottom and turn around and say, the Warforged man, yeah, he came through looking for like a airship, right? That guy? Yeah, he's here somewhere. He was down with the Lordy dude. He was at the tree earlier.
We just came in through the tree. He wasn't there. With the Lordy dude. Who's the Lordy dude?
I don't know, big dude. He's made of vines. He's tall. He's like 7 foot. They were chatting. He was like, yo, what up, Warforged? And the Warforged was like, oh no, death. And then didn't die. It was weird.
So the Warforged is with the Vine Lord.
Well, he was certainly near him.
Is that
yeah.
what you're saying? Did they
In
live together?
proximity, in proximity, yes. In alignment, unsure.
Sorry, I may have misunderstood the color of your description with the yo, what's up? I assumed they knew each other and were acquainted. I have some adjusting to get used to your colourful language.
Cool.
Did you see which way they went?
Yeah, that way. They both point at the same time, just like towards the tree.
So back the way we came. Alright.
You guys haven't been to the big tree yet.
I thought we went past the big tree on the way in.
You're heading. No, it's at the center.
Oh, I
The
misunderstood.
big tree is at the
sorry.
center. That's what you said you were heading towards. It's the big tree is at the center, and it's the big building you were heading towards is like next to the big tree.
I do apologise. I jotted
No,
that
no,
down.
that's okay.
Thank you.
No, that's okay. You noted that it was strange that there was a giant willow tree just in the middle of a fortress. That was a little odd, especially since willow trees don't grow anywhere near here or even on this continent.
Gotcha. And so, are you two sticking to your plan to rob, or would you like to come and see what happens next?
Let's sort of look at each other. One of them just sort of scratches a bit. We'll come with, why not? We got nothing else going on. Who knows, maybe Warforged guys got some cash. Ooh, cash.
You may have the cash, but we're taking the Warforged. Fair?
That's fine. He heavy. We're small. They are small. They stand about 3 feet tall. All of you are taller than these two.
So Nick and Knack, can you scout the way ahead and just rotate through, reporting back to us to tell us a clear path, the safest way to get to the tree? Can you do that
Nick,
with your wings?
Stands forward. As you say with your wings, the one that you know as Knack, which is the one with the wings on. Nick is the one with like the skunk in the cage. Knack steps forward and says, "What wings?" And then Nick steps forward and says, "I got something for this." He takes the cage off and opens. You see him like open it up a little bit, and the skunk sort of like sticks its head out a little bit, and like you see him whispering some of the skunk like, "Yeah, you just gotta go over to the cage, to the tree, and let us know what you see. Okay, go that way." And like you see him prostrate, he opens the cage. The skunk climbs out slowly, looks at him, and then runs in the opposite direction. And he just sort of looks at it and goes, "Yeah, I really should have seen that one coming. Not gonna lie, it was just a skunk."
I was excited to see a kobold with a familiar. That was... You just pulled the rug out from me, you bastard.
Well, fun fact: that skunk is actually one of its attacks. Skunk in a cage is an attack that it has.
Oh, okay.
Kobold inventors are the best versions of kobolds. I love them so much. Okay, so he just sort of... Well, guess we're going this way. Your Meaty steps forward and says, "Oh, boss, I can fly."
You're telling us this now?
This would be something you're vaguely aware of.
Oh, okay.
He does have a spell that could make him fly temporarily for a while. For 10 minutes to an hour, depending on how long he wants to hold it for.
Can you safely scout us the way and hightail it back here if things look shitty?
He sort of looks up and says, "I could fly out, but there's not really any cover here. The buildings aren't really big enough. I could, but I'm probably going to get spotted the moment I go up too high. But I'm happy to do it if you want."
Is there anything around here that doesn't like things flying, Nick and Knack?
Nick and Knack look at each other, look at you, and just... Well, I guess they could throw some of the... the spear things they have, but The big tree could probably reach out and smack him if he got too close, but other than that, I don't think so.
What do you think, Aster? We've got some options here. Should we just start heading to the tree? Dodge the vines?
I'd rather not lose our only source of producing flames. She turns to Meaty. No offense, you are more than flames. But you are very useful in this situation.
I'll lead on. The safest way to the tree that you know, Nick and Knack.
Nick and Knack just okay, and they start wandering off. As your two new kobold allies wander through the streets with you, you get a moment where like you're wandering for maybe 5 minutes or so, and then like they both stop and they look at each other like wide-eyed, and they sort of like you see them like look at each other and they look at the alley and they sort of like look back the way you came and it should be fine. You can tell that they're clearly lost. Like they clearly realize they're going in the wrong direction, but instead of just doubling back, they lead you up and around the block to make it seem as if you haven't gone this way before. Clearly, they're like, we're smart. They haven't noticed. You notice. You notice immediately. They just walk you around the building to your left, back onto this street. These kobolds. Kobolds are great. And they lead you. Eventually, you come to a large, wide courtyard, maybe 80 feet by 80 feet across, with this giant willow tree at the center. The willow tree has a base that is roughly a 20-foot radius, so like 40 feet in diameter. This giant, huge willow tree.
And that's in the center.
This is in the center of this courtyard. You can see all around this courtyard are bodies.
Oh.
Some of them vined, some of them not. Most of them broken and beaten in various ways, many of them burnt. You can see lying under the tree is the body of a large, 11-foot tall warforged. His chest has been opened up, not forcefully it looks like, and there is a figure kneeling in front of the tree that is facing you, that appears to be working in somewhere on the Warforged. You can see the figure appears to be made of bark and vines with green skin, brown coming out through it, and almost like Doc Ock from Spider-Man style, like arms in the form of vines coming out of its back, reaching around and into this Warforged's chest. You can see its eyes glow this pale red color as it seems to be solely focused on this Warforged. This one looks different. You watch as you come out, the tree looks at you. You watch as two eyes about halfway up the trunk open and just fixate on you. The tree then and the mouth breaks and it just sort of as the strange figure in the middle just sort of looks up.
Yeah, good to see you. I've been waiting for more test subjects. Come now. Sit down.
The kobolds look at each other, look at you, and just... That was unnerving. I don't like that.
We're here for that Warforged. Not to be test subjects.
He is mine. Once I have gotten what I want, you can have him.
Are you responsible for this town?
That is a vague question. I will assume you mean the destruction, not the creation of. I am simply a catalyst. Where I go, divines follow. What they do is not my choosing. I am simply a tool. they are a side effect, which I am not.
Adverse.
Do.
The fuck is this thing? This sounds like a possessed C3PO. Not that any of us know what a C3PO is.
You know, from that great, from that, you know, the play, the Star Wars.
Yeah, the
about
Star
those
Wars
guys
play.
who blew up a ship in the astral sea. Yeah, you know,
Yes.
Mindy has an erotica version of it. It's
You
great.
show me the pictures. Yeah, different kinds of vines. Those ones. What the fuck are you?
That is a strange question. I am a plant. I am doom. Life. I am a byproduct of the morning. I start something small, something else. I was hope, life for the people of Saya. Now I am dirt. I am a byproduct of an unfortunate accident. An experiment gone wrong. An experiment that wrought destruction. I am what's left. I can help them. I can fix them. I need vines. I do not control them, but they will be mine when I prove that I am deserving of them.
You want the vines. Who controls the vines?
He just looks up at the tree. He just motions up to the tree. You see the giant tree, two massive arms are slowly elongating from its sides, and they into the ground, and the tree begins to slowly uproot itself.
You fucking kidding me, Jay?
Nah, man.
Alright, big boy. Who are you?
You can't tell if it says doom or the wind rustled in the wrong way.
Why have you sent these vines?
You see, like, the strange thing looks up at it and looks back down at you and says,
It does not know. It acts on impulse. I was created for life. It is created for destruction. Our purposes are intertwined. An alliance of necessity. Would you hope to stop us? You cannot. You are weak. You are mortal. We are the vines. You can try to kill, but we will grow again. We are inevitable.
Fuck you, Ultron.
the Nick steps forward of the wonderful pair Knick-Knack and looks at it and he takes like 20 he clears the distance between the two of you, waddles along, looks up at the treant. You see the treant now and stands up properly. He just reaches into the back of his cage and sort of grabs the giant wasp's nest, and you see him like attaching it to the back end of his quarterstaff. He's just sort of like just stuffing around. He's doing his own thing, it seems.
Do any of you know what this is? Whispering to the group, what the fuck this is? Anything?
Knack leans over and says, "It appears to be a tree."
Do you know how we stop the tree? And the other
I mean,
thing...
trees are a good source of firewood.
What do we do here? Do we go in after these? But what's the play? It sounds like this shit's pretty fucking evil. They've wiped out a whole town with whatever they're trying to do. Something's not right. Is this what you were trying to trap? Knack? Is this what you were trying to trap underground?
Knack turns and says,
Could you be your weapons?
That's a funny thing for Knack to say.
I was... Who's this Lily person? Can she be useful? Who knows?
Yes, yeah. Has she got a fire stick?
I was just hearing the reverb. Knack turns and says, we were paid to trap something. Like, we were not trapping the thing, we were building traps in case whatever it was got out. But we were on break for a few days. I mean, we escaped, which is basically a break. Because you know, the whole didn't want to die thing. And then this happened. So, like, he just shrugs. Oh, I can make fire, by the way. Is that important? I should have said that earlier. I can make fire.
It would have been very useful for you to have led with that. Yes, that is very useful.
Cool. I could do that then.
Aster, what do you think? Do we go and... I don't know what the fuck Nick's doing, but are we going to try and burn these fuckers down?
I mean, it's the best way to kill a plant. That or not watering it for weeks on end. I've definitely done that.
Yeah, I feel ya. I feel that in my soul.
Knack turns towards you and says, I don't think that we have time to not work. Could we wait? Is that an option? If we can wait it out, I'd like to do that, please.
No.
That seems less like immediate death.
They seem self-watering. They seem like immediate death.
You see, Nick is standing there now. He's like smacking the scorpion, like, hey, no. And you see him like go to grab the staff near the scorpion like just stings his hand, and he, ow, hey, stop that. And you see he's like, you know like in polo how you would throw the ball with the polo stick. You see him like he has the stick over his shoulder with the wasp basket on the opposite end that he's holding, and he's like, looks like he's wheeling up to throw the wasp's nest at the tree, like launch it, like a catapult. He looks very relaxed as he does this.
I've got a question for the unit that's working on the Warforged. And so, if you guys are opposites, why are you helping each other? It would seem you would be at odds.
The creature looks up at you with those like glowing red eyes and says,
Opposites attract, I guess. You cannot have creation before destruction. Destruction has no purpose without creation. We are one and the same. Linked eternal. Not by choice, but by design.
So I'd like to do detect level and see if these guys have got giant skulls over their heads. Is that is that just a WoW thing, or have we got that in DnD?
Actually, that is an ability you have. Unfortunately, it is an ability that belongs to a specific type of fighter.
Oh god damn it!
That is a thing that that is a thing that a class can pretty much do, though. I will say that you guys, you don't think that with the 5 of you together, your party of 3 and the 2 kobolds, you have the best chance of beating these 2.
Thank you for that.
Do you think you might maybe be able to take one of them if they're alone? You do know that fire is probably handy against both of them. Make me an intelligence or wisdom check, the both of you.
Alright.
Just to see if you can get like a spark sort of an idea. I may be able to give you a hint as to the fight that is possibly going to play out since role-playing hasn't gone too well.
14.
24.
Holy shitballs.
My wisdom is +6. It's good.
Damn. I'm
Clerics,
just gonna
I
sit
love
my
it.
dumb ass down and meditate for a bit while you sort.
You think, Aster, that what he said about them being one and the same, you think there's a chance that if, like he was saying, they're linked almost. You think there's a chance that one of them has to be in charge. You know that. Now, assuming that one of them created the Vine Men, you can assume, if you want to take the leap, that one of these two, the giant tree or the strange like Vine Lord thing, created the other. You think that maybe, if you can destroy the creator one, the other one will die with it. You just need to figure out which one of these two is the original.
Asta would like to speak to the Vine Man. If you are created by design to be opposites, then surely something would have had to create you to be those opposites. So then what creates what? Death, life, creation, destruction? Which one comes first in this world?
Chicken or the egg, I guess. We came at the same time. We woke together, one after the other. One the mind, the other the heart. Sorry, smoker's lung. You know, it's just one of those things.
I do this thing so regularly in all of my games where I will just randomly say something out of character but using the character's voice, and it's never to make the players laugh, it's just to give me a chuckle, and the players always look at me like, wait, what?
Yeah, it gave me a chuckle. Look, if we're trying to figure out which of these fuckers is in charge, didn't the whatever it is over the top of the Warforge we're here for say that he was creation and that the other was destruction? Or did I have that back to front?
Okay, he's been very vague on that. He has said that both he is creation and he is ruin, and that the other is destruction, but the other is life. Like, it's this... Yeah, he's not... It's almost as if he's being cryptic on purpose. Yeah, it's hard for you to sort of figure out which is which. I will throw you a bone and say that what he said about one being the heart, one being the mind, you can assume that if one of them is the mind, that'd probably be the one working on the Warforge. Oh, by the way, if none of you stop him, Nick is very clearly about to fling a nest of wasps at this tree. If any of you want to do anything about that situation, because he is still going and he is about to launch these wasps. He is geared up and ready to start a fight.
Nick,
he seems very...
wait.
Huh?
Just wait. We will signal who and when to attack if it's necessary. I'm just going to give him a wink of, it's probably pretty clear it's going to be necessary. Hopefully that passes by.
Okay, make me a charisma check. When
Jesus.
his insight is -2.
9.
You wink at him, and he looks at you and nods and gives you a wink back. You wink at him to say, you say, we'll let you know which one's necessary, and you wink at him to be like, it's gonna be necessary. He winks at you, you think when he winks at you that he is saying to you, I getcha, I'll wait. Got it. Wait for the target. On the other hand, Aster, you think that when Nick winks, what Nick is saying is, got it, attack now, catch him by surprise. Nick flings the bag
shit.
of wasps.
No! Fuck!
The bag of wasps flies and smashes against the face of the tree. And the wasps begin stinging the tree. Nothing
Fuck,
happens.
man.
They are wasps. It is a tree. Nick just, He shrugs, turns around, and just starts wandering back over to you guys. The tree brings its hand up and just brushes down its face. Just kills all the wasps.
Jesus.
The vine man just cocks his head to the side slightly in confusion.
Look, the vine guy has to be the brain, doesn't he?
Makes sense, I guess.
Sorry, a bit of reverb. We've got... Did the tree say Doom? Is he the Doom? Are we...
I think he
I'm
said
so
doom, yeah.
confused.
That or he farted, one of the two. I don't know which it is.
Alright, Aster, I think we have to roll up on one of these. Meaty, have you got any idea of who's who in the zoo here? Who's in charge out of this pair?
Of the two of them, I'm more threatened by the tree, so perhaps we should kill that one. The other guy's kinda scrawny.
Aster?
We could always try separating them.
Yeah, what are
I
you
mean-
thinking?
The small one definitely likes to talk. I feel
Okay.
like he at least has some kind of mind on him. We could maybe distract him, pull him away, talk about something about life, death, the never-ending cycle. Maybe we could even get him caught in a paradox, and then he might not want to be alive anymore. Who knows?
I'm still standing right here, guys.
We were whispering.
Yeah, but like, aren't you intrigued and curious now?
Did we get either of their names? I did
He
ask.
looks at you.
Looks at you with the expression I just gave you, which was just blank face. Blank face. Clearly not going to respond. You don't appear to have gotten names from them.
Alright. You working on the Warforged. I'd like to show you something. Because I think there's some holes in what you were saying. And what I would like to do is to try and indicate I want to lead him essentially back down towards where we had the body that we incinerated. So there's something I'd like to show you
Okay, I need you to roll me a persuasion check.
that is neither life nor death. Oh,
I
that's fucking shit.
need you to know that you... Like... This is, like... So, there's some things that are just impossible.
Mm-hmm.
This... I'll give you a chance to be nice.
Oh no, the
But-
chance is shit.
Yeah, the chance is like, you're gonna need a 20 and nothing else.
No, I rolled a 9.
Yeah, he looks at you and just...
Can I assist with that? Wait, are you sure? I feel like I could.
Yes! I'm certain.
He doesn't want us to separate them.
Yeah, these two seem... At least this one seems smart enough to be like, no, I'm not gonna leave with you, that's just foolish. If you separate me, you will attack me. The Vine Lord sort of stands up and says,
Do you wish to fight? I am happy to fight. I am happy to kill if necessary. What is death if not life?
Do you know what is on the other side of death?
No, I have not died.
don't you think you should try that to find out? To see just how eternal you are?
It was your idea. You first.
I believe I know what's on the other side. And I'm in no hurry to find out. But you seem so certain that you're eternal. I'm not. I have a finite period. What do you have?
Forever. I have all the time I need. I can do what I want, say what I want, do who I want. I will be here. I was here when you were born. I will be here when you are gone. We both will be. Now, I will open the gates. You have entertained me. I will allow you leave. Go. Do not speak of what you have seen or do. No one can stop me anyway. You may go.
We
I am
need
done
that
with the
Warforged.
Warforged. You can take him. But I will allow you leave. Entertaining mortals. Take him.
You watch as a giant vine shoots out of the ground between the two of you, wraps itself around the Warforged, picks him up, and delivers him to your feet. You see the Warforged has been resealed and re-knitted in the middle by, like, vines, almost. He appears to be alive as far as you can tell for a Warforged.
You said he appears to be alive. Is he communicative?
His eyes are open and he's moving. He looks dazed and out of it. But he certainly does look alive.
Well, we need to take the Warforged with us. Definitely. I'd like to ask this guy, what's your play here? Why all these people? Why this keep? Why the Warforged?
Do not overextend this kindness. I allow you leave. If I were you, I would take that. I would not give me a chance to change my mind. You cannot stand against me. Go, live your lives, knowing that you will not see me again. Like I said, my plans, I have time. They take time.
I don't know what to do here, people.
He's letting you leave, man.
He is.
I think that maybe we shouldn't cross them. But my curiosity...
I don't like leaving evil to flourish. What the fuck is that?
Nick launches the basket of centipedes at the tree. It does nothing.
Why is he attacking the tree? Nick, stop!
He looks at you. I thought we were killing a boss. Okay, that's fine.
So you assess that the two of them is going to be really hard for us, like very difficult for us to take out.
It's not impossible, but you would be going into this situation at a definite disadvantage. against two creatures that already appear to be more powerful than your party.
Yeah.
Maybe this situation with one of them,
Yeah.
but you also presume that the bodies that have vines in them nearby, if you attack, are probably going to get up and join the fray as well. It probably just won't be these two. There'll probably be some others joining in for the scrap.
I am all for vanquishing evil, but I don't think we will prevail, and we do no one any good dead and joining the army of the vines.
You hear in the distance, it's strange, you're so far away, as if it's accentuated by something, the creaking of a gate opening.
Alright. Shall we go?
Live to fight another day, laddie. Let's get out of here.
Aster? You really want to pick a fight, I can tell.
No, I don't want to fight them, but this is a rare opportunity to observe what they've been doing. Maybe keep tabs on them. You know, usual stuff. It's just morbid curiosity. But I believe you're right. It would be better to live another day.
Should we continue this conversation away from our eavesdropping friend?
A skunk runs past.
If that's not a sign, I don't know what it is.
just completely unrelated, just like through the middle of the courtyard between you, just everyone sort of stops and just watches, like a skunk just sort of runs through, one of the vine men chasing it. Like, the two of them sort of run through, and the skunk's having its own side adventure at the moment. Moving on.
Fun little buddy. Nick and Knack, are you coming with us? It would seem a wiser course of action.
They both just shrug. They seem to be willing to take orders from you for the time being.
I'm willing to bet that doesn't last. Alright, then I guess we make our way out. As we're going, I would like to go out via the first house that we came into.
Yep.
And take the bodies down off the roof and lay them on the bed, or lay them into some sort of more gracious death pose. And also, Meaty, have you got a jar or something we can seal something in? Fingers crossed, I'm hoping he does.
If you want, I'll say Meaty doesn't, but Nick definitely has spare jars and vials that he can give you.
Right.
If you want, Nick and Knack offer to help you carry the bodies outside the gates after they're cut down. You cut down the 5 bodies, and Nick and Knack offer to help you transport the 5 bodies outside the gates for a proper burial.
I'd also like to take some samples of the vine in one of those jars. Or one or more of the jars.
Yeah, you can definitely take a sample of the vines. I'll say, like, between you take a sample of the vines, sample of the moss, sample of the
I was going
berries.
to say sample of everything.
Like, just take a little bit of everything in the jars, slide them away into the backpack for later.
Yep.
And the 5 bodies and our party of adventurers slowly make their way back out the gates. As you exit the gates, you hear the entire way back out, you hear, like, thunder cracking in the distance now. As the night has fully set in. And as you're leaving, you can see down various alleyways people, like those figures, those vined figures. You see maybe 50 or 60 of them as you're leaving. And as you're leaving, seeing these people, they're just watching you. They watch you, you see them outside the window watching you cut the bodies down, you go outside. They're always at least a block or 2 away, just in the distance, never close.
Mm-hmm.
You strap the bodies to the horse and the pony, and you walk them out.
Well, let's give these people a decent burial outside the gates.
As you step outside the gates behind you and shut one final time, and you hear like the creaking of wood, and turning around you watch as in front of the gate, these giant roots are growing over the top of the gate and the entire wall, almost like encompassing it. You begin to wander a ways away with the body as the thunderclouds break and it just begins to rain. You dig six appropriately sized graves with the help of Nick and Knack. You bury the 6 bodies. Do you say anything over them to any of the various religions? There's the sovereign host is kind of like the most common religion. They're like the 6 like good, generally quotation mark, good aligned gods. There's the silver flame. There's there's lots of different gods that you could theoretically say sort of like words to.
I don't have a religious affiliation, so just as we complete the final shovels of sores, your energy's gone back to the universe now. May it do some good in its next part of this journey. And if the cleric has something more religious to say, I'll let it over.
Meaty would probably step forward and just say a very quiet prayer to the silver flame, proffering their strength to the silver flame in hopes that their sacrifice might defend the innocent elsewhere. Would Aster like to say anything, Lily?
She won't say anything out loud, but she will get down in a prayer position. Knees, hands together above their head, resting on, like, the temple. And she will begin mumbling, but nothing anyone can make out because it's in Marquesian.
Well played.
Nick and Knack, Nick and Knack see this, and you see them like you see like that look in their faces, like, oh, we should say something, and they both step forward, and Nick says, "We did not know you," and then Knack says, "The end," and they both step back, and they both bow their heads. You notice at some point, you don't know when, Nick got his skunk back. There is a skunk in the cage. You don't know if it's the same skunk as before. You don't know if it's a new skunk, but there is a skunk in the cage. So,
oh, very good.
The Warforge eventually starts to come to. You all mount your steeds. Nick and Knack are asked to come with you, actually. They don't really have anywhere else to go, and they're just like, if you want, boss, we can come along. As the 5 of you begin to head to the nearest settlement, what were those 2 planning? What the hell is going on in the morning?
I want the wolf. Sorry, that
is a story for another time, I think.
God damn it! I wanted to quiz the Warforged. I want to go back and burn that place to the ground. But yes, I understand.
It's getting late, and who knows? Maybe after this campaign's done, there might be other things to explore over here in Eberron.
And we may end up back here with different things that happen as well, if you are up for it. I definitely want to come back better prepared with some reconnaissance and bonus.
Yes, I wouldn't mind running some Eberron sessions with you guys where I have a little bit more time to prep and you guys have a little bit more time to sort of do research and look into the setting, because it's a very fun, very unique setting. Very, very enjoyable.
I'd be up for that.
Okay.
I'm with you, Aster. This place needs to be watched, and I want to come back and fuck some more shit up. Those evil bastards need to go.
They definitely need to go, but hopefully we can at least contain them first. They don't seem aggressively evil, just passively evil.
Can I ask Nick and Knack one question before we do wrap up, Boston?
Yeah, damn right you can.
I won't do a full quiz on the... We'll save it for the next time around as we journey back. But I want to know off Nick and Knack what were you 2 tasked to do to contain these evils?
They essentially, over the course of the journey, explain that kobolds primarily dwell underground in a place called the Endless Tunnels, which you would know from the Forgotten Realms as like the Underdark, essentially, like the place under the crust of the earth. It's almost its own plane of existence. It's so expansive. Mm-hmm. And essentially, kobolds are not the most intelligent creatures. They're not the strongest, the fastest, but what they're very good at, the one thing they can do is inventing and building traps. So they were essentially tasked with building traps out of whatever scraps they had there, building in like spike pits and just very basic traps around. They essentially had there was a underground chamber, they explained to you, that had 2 corridors leading away from it, so that up, and they were essentially tasked with filling those 2 corridors with as many traps as they could possibly put into those 2 corridors, basically making it impossible for any living creature to get in, or they now realize possibly get out. But it seems that whatever traps they had built were not enough to do the job.
Okay.
I think we'll finish up there given the time.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That was something.
No, it was good. I enjoyed it. I won't ask for any more details than just one, and tell me that you won't answer it if it's not.
No,
appropriate.
go ahead, man.
It's was there a way of working that situation where we possibly could have resolved it through combat, like to separated them off? No, I don't. I'm saying be careful.
No,
answer,
no,
if we come back
okay.
here, I don't want a spoiler.
Okay. So,
I don't want to, I don't want a god mode hint. I'm just curious.
The thing with this adventure is I wasn't sure whether this would be a 2-hour session or maybe hey, you'd message me at 6, hey, you cool to start at 7, so we'd have a few more. I wasn't sure how long I was planning a session for, so when I was planning this, I was cool, I want to have the house encounter, I want to have Nick and Knack because I just love dumb kobolds and this is an excuse to do kobolds. But I also had a couple of other encounters that were sort of combat related, one with a smaller version of the tree, one with some more of the vine people and a strange what's called a shambling mound, a giant, monstrous, vine mound. And there were also 3 or 4 other roleplay scenarios with various houses. There was one, and essentially in that building beside the tree, the building had been barricaded because the leader, the woman that I told you about, she's still alive. She was alive.
Oh, don't say
7 or 8 of her soldiers. She was. Basically, you guys leaving sort of sealed the fate of those people. But hey, that'll play into it next time. But yeah, she was leading sort of a semi-resistance, and you could have made allies with her to sort of even the odds, knick-knack, her 5 or 6 guards sort of thing, and you sort of not. It would have been a fair fight, but you would have had sort of those allies that you needed to sort of cool, this group take this enemy, this group take this enemy, or you two deal with your group, sort of deal with the treant and that, while the guards and that cover you from the vine men. You could have sort of worked it that way, or you could have, or the other option for this was you get in and then the mission isn't we need to find the warforged. The mission is now how do we escape, and it becomes a story about trying to escape these people rather than actually solve the mystery. Was the other version of sort of how I sort of saw this going.
Yeah.
But you guys went with the solve the mystery, and we didn't really have time to sort of really pull all those threads. But it's just one of those time things with the shorter sessions we're doing. You can't really do everything, unfortunately. Oh no, it's okay. It's no issue in a campaign the normal campaign is a lot easier because I can just pull them next week. Whereas one shots, you really got to cut things down to what do I really need to tell the players. But no, it was good fun. You guys did very well. I'm very proud of the fact that no one died.
No, that was good fun. Thank you, and thank you for joining in, Lily. That was awesome. That would have been very difficult.
It was my pleasure. I'm glad you were up for me joining. Honestly.
Oh, for sure, absolutely. If you're up for the regular campaign and it's manageable for us to add an extra person in down the track, get the boss man to let us know.
No, I'm enjoying learning too much about your beautiful DM's notes and things that he has planned. So I'll pass on that.
I have about something I do enjoy doing is a DMPC, so essentially bringing her in to play various NPCs who have information the players can't, or in certain big boss fights or something like that, if maybe against some of the hags, having her actually come in as the hags themselves to give you guys that extra bit of Lily coming in as an antagonist to sort of but that is something we will be looking at later.
Cool. No, don't give me too much. That's awesome. I look forward to it down the track. The we got the Marvel teaser here for future
Yeah.
future events.
Oh, we'll
No,
see what
thank you very
happens.
much. Thank you very much for doing that. That was awesome fun. I'm really glad I got
Anytime.
to get a D&D fix and got to get a bit of combat in. I would definitely be keen to play a monk again.
Monks are
That
great,
was
especially at higher
really
levels.
fun.
Monks are mean, and I, as a DM, hate having to plan encounters around them at high levels because monks are the kind of class that break games in the best way, in a good way, not in a bad way. But monks are so damn powerful. They're just one of the monks and druids. You can't beat them.
That was very appealing to me from a number of different levels, both like meta real life and in game. That I'd definitely do that again. And we've got this one here to potentially do a mini monk story at some point to finish this story.
See what
up.
happens.
Yeah. No, thank you. I know it's getting late, so thank you all, and I'll go wrap all this up and raid out and do all those fun things. So thank you.
Easy, anytime, man. I think I'm gonna take off. I'm gonna go to bed. I'm very tired, and I've drank too much energy drink, so I need sleep.
No, thank you very much, and yeah, thank you both. It was awesome fun, and thanks everyone who's in chat. It is late for me as well, so I'm actually just going to straight up end it. So I will catch all of you lovely people who are around on Thursday or whenever we next get together. See you, and hopefully your internet is good for Monday night. Fingers crossed.
Oh, I hope so. God, I hope so.
Stupid Optus. All right. See you. Oh, sorry. It was just no. You go.
Oh no, it was just the internet fixed itself at like midday today. It just started working again. It was
dirty.
Don't know what was wrong with it. It was just maintenance in the area. It was just unfortunate timing.
I hate it when they do that. I've had that before. It just
They tried to they tried to time it for times when people aren't really going to be on, but unfortunately that doesn't really work for this household.
I feel ya. All right. Well, best of luck with it, and catch yous.
Yeah, chat to you soon, man. We'll catch you later. Bye now.